Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you guys the Grace journal from the Serenity Collection. And so this is wrapped up with some cotton yarn. And this comes with a card with its name, just like the other ones, and it has a little bit of fabric sewed up on there. And this is actually layered to some textured paper, and then there's a doily on the back, a paper doily. And it comes with this little dried flower, and then it also comes with this little paper pack. It's got some embroidery thread right there with a tiny little charm, and then it has the paper doily, and it has some wallpaper. And then this is some blue hand-dyed paper. This is also some blue dyed paper. And then a dictionary page. So and then this comes with this coin envelope. And let's see. Labels in there, and then I have these tickets, and then it has this little tag with the name again, and it has this little journaling booklet. Okay, here's the journal. And it's hand stitched on the edge. This is, let's see, this is wallpaper. This is some fabric. And I use that to just kind of reinforce the spine. Then there's this gauzy fabric that I sewed into a ruffle. And I hand stitched all these little beads on there. And then there's a little bow at the top. And there's, okay, so it opens up, and I actually attached the tag on here. And then this is a lace pocket that I hand stitched on there. This is some wallpaper that I used. This is a vintage envelope, and inside there's some tickets, this little tag, and some vintage note paper. There's also a part of a letter in here. And there is this. This is actually from a vintage, from an antique magazine. I thought it was so pretty. And I actually backed it up to some document paper. And the document paper, I don't know if you could tell, it's very pale blue. It's like a marble blue. So okay, so here we have, on this side I hand stitched some lace, and then this is a little cut, fussy cut, and this is just some cheesecloth, and then this is a label, so you can actually write, either do some journaling about what this journal will be about. You can put a title, a date, and there's this tiny little bow right there. And then this right here is actually stitching from this other side. There's a few little stitches, but I thought it just adds to kind of the charm of the book. And so here is the hand stitching again. I'm hoping that I'm on camera because I'm not sure. This is some lace, And then this tiny piece is just a little bit of vintage wallpaper, and I just love this so much. And I just wanted to include a little piece of it in here, but I've been kind of hoarding it, and now I'm like down to my last pieces, but I felt it went really well with this journal, so I added it in there. And this is like a little card, and it opens up for hidden journaling. This is actually sprayed with, I don't know if you can see, they're tiny little dots. So I used, I made my own like alcohol ink, and I sprayed it on here, and this is how it turned out, and I thought it looked so pretty. And this here is a photo. This is actually from Cassie's, one of Cassie's digitals, Dust to Roses. I will link that below. And it opens up, and I think this is like a perfect place for collage or journaling. And then this, I believe, is from Ruby and Pearl, one of Heather's French receipts. And here is a pocket that I made, and again, I used the script on the edge, and I really like the way it looks. And then here I have a verse at the top, and this is just perfect for journaling. That's just some vintage paper to journal on. Now this is a flower I hand stitched on there, and then this is just some paper doily that I glued on there for interest. And again, you can add maybe like one of these papers in here, like a notepad paper for more journaling, or you can collage on there. Here again is how I sprayed. I did that spray with the alcohol ink, and this is basically coffee dyed paper. This is from one of my black and white digitals, and I printed this on, this is on a scribble pad, and it looks so nice. It looks like, to me it looks like real newspaper. So I've been using this a lot in my journals lately. I have the Serenity poem or prayer on here, and I hand wrote it, and I attached it on there, and I thought that would be a nice touch. And there's a little bow on the bottom there. This is a music sheet printed out. This is a little tuck spot. That's scrapbook paper. This is some vintage paper. And this is the back of this. This is some vintage paper, and I thought it would look so cool on a notepad. And you have the paper on there for the journaling, and then I have some wallpaper at the top that I used. And here's some more of that paper. I love the way it's so translucent. It's paper, but it's super thin, so it you can kind of see the image from underneath on there. So I thought that was a really nice effect. So that tucks in there. And this is a tag that I made, and there's some hand stitching right there. There's some lace I added, and there's just a bunch of layers on there. And then I hand stitched this ruffle, this ribbon up at the top. And then there's room for journaling on the back. And this is just a vintage image of, it looks like two sisters. It actually reminds me of me and my sister. When we were young, we were always dressed alike. And we had pictures that look pretty similar to that. Okay, and then here I have two tags. This tag is from my Etsy shop, and I have these in color and in black and white, and I just love the verse that is on there. And so basically just a couple layers. I got fabric on there, and then there's some hand-dyed blue paper for journaling. And then this is another card I made, and got space on the back for journaling. And I think it's so nice, it could just, oops, I just bumped the camera. I think it's so nice to just tuck in there, and then you have more space for journaling. And then here's the name. I have the tag with the name of the journal. And for this layout, this is a little tuck spot. So this is a little tuck spot right here. This is some vintage lace. This pale blue fabric, and I thought it worked so well in here. I just kind of wove it through the lace. And then this, I have a tutorial on how to make these. And so I really was so excited to make these. Basically, you can have the aesthetic of an old letter. I think it looks so pretty in a journal. And then you can have your own handwriting right inside. And you can also have a tuck spot right there, so you can add more of your own personal ephemera. You can also add notes or pictures in there. And I tucked it in here, but how cute would it be? You can also tuck it like this to the top of a page if you wanted to. So there's that. Then this tag is by Cassie with Dust to Roses, and I have this vintage coffee dye paper on the back, and then you can have a ton of journaling space, right? That again is some wallpaper, and then here I actually added a seal. It's a white rose seal. Let's see if I can bring it up closer. And then this is wallpaper, and then I have some lace at the top. And this is a printable. This is a black and white printable from my shop, and I actually printed it on hand-dyed paper. I dyed it blue. It's a very pale blue. And again, this is that scribble paper that I printed on, and I think it's such a great idea. It looks so good. Actually, I learned about scribble paper from Heather with Ruby and Pearl. She mentioned it in one of her videos about how to, she just gave tips on how to age paper, and she mentioned that she likes to use scribble paper, and it really does look good. It looks so nice and vintage. It looks just like old newspaper when you print on it. Okay, and this image here is from one of my digitals. I have a digital with some birds, and it's just layered on here with different papers. And then I did a ruffle, and again, this is I think this is satin, and it's super fragile. It's so old that you can basically tear it apart with your hands. It's so old and fragile, but I sewed it on there, and so it should be fine. And then I have a pearl right there, and I have some pearl buttons that I sewed also. And this right here is wallpaper. And then this this is vintage paper. I thought that's such a pretty look. And again, it's a tuck spot, so you can just tuck something in there. And then here you have some journaling space. Here again is another tuck spot. So you can kind of tuck something in there, or you can do a collage on this page. I love to do collages on printed pages also. I think it looks so good, and I just love the way it came out. I think it looks so pretty. Okay, and here, this is a French digital from Heather with Ruby and Pearl. I printed this on scrapbook paper, and then I distressed the edges, and I added some stitching, and I layered it with a little with a paper doily on there. I think it looks so pretty. Okay, and this page, this is one of my favorite pages. On this side, you have a little envelope here, and there's a printable again. I have this little card, and basically you can just write on this. So cute. Okay, and then this image here is one of my favorites. I printed it on, let's see, I think it was, I want to say that I printed it on scribble paper, and I actually sealed it to make sure that that it's somewhat protected and it's not too fragile. And then I glued it down here. I layered it with some note paper, and I added some lace, and then I added this piece of lace here. And I think it looks so pretty. And then of course there's some of the old letter underneath, and then there's a little bit of ribbon at the top. And so this is one of my favorite layouts. I think that's so pretty. Okay, and then the back of this is actually wallpaper. And then here we have a pocket, and I hand stitched some flowers on here, and it's basically a fabric pocket. And then here are some more vintage papers to write on. And again, I love to use these throughout the journal. I mean, it's fun to journal straight on, like I would journal straight on also, but then it's also nice to attach some of these and maybe a photograph or an image on top. So I just left that open for you, so you have some options. And so this is the Grace journal, and here is the side view.